Today we're looking at the British English accent of Ed Sheeran.
Like, I wasn't a very popular kid at all, and I went to high school and picked up a guitar, and then suddenly I started like making friends, getting girlfriends, playing in bands.
His accent is the perfect example of modern received pronunciation. When most people think about received pronunciation, they think about this.
Hello, Radio Olympia. This is direct television from the studios at the Alexander Palace.
Well, I'm going to show you what received pronunciation sounds like in 2021 with my mate Ed Sheeran. I just want to take a quick moment to thank Lingard for sponsoring this video. Later on, I'm going to tell you how you can study English from your own home and get 100% cashback on your course fees. But first, let's get to Ed Sheeran. Ed Sheeran grew up in Suffolk, which is in the east of England, and he speaks received pronunciation. Now, received pronunciation is an accent that doesn't have any geographical location. You could be an RP speaker from London, or from Yorkshire, or from Edinburgh, but it does have links to London and the southeast. Now, Ed Sheeran speaks with what I call modern received pronunciation, or modern RP, and this is, as it sounds, a contemporary version of received pronunciation. And it has features that are different from what we would traditionally call conservative RP, which used to be heard on the BBC. So I'm going to take clips from an interview that he gave, and I'm going to analyze his accent. I think there's going to be a lot of connected speech, which is the way that we omit sounds and we blend sounds to make it easier to say things. So let's dive right in with this first clip.
Luck is when preparation meets opportunity. So it's basically if you work hard enough to like better yourself and make you good, and the opportunity comes, you're good enough to be elevated to the next level. Okay, now the sound that we're going to start with is the T sound, and this is a great indicator of someone's accent. Now, in these clips here, Ed Sheeran says the T with a true T sound, better, and he also says opportunity. If you work hard enough to like better yourself and make you good, and the opportunity comes.
So this is a sign of received pronunciation, saying that true T, because received pronunciation is known for enunciating every single sound, and to say the T properly, truly, is one of those examples. So better and opportunity. However, he doesn't always say that T.
And I remember the last day of tour we played in my hometown, like 40,000 people.
Now, did you hear there? He dropped that T in 40, so he said 40.
Like 40,000 people.
40. That's what we call a glottal T. That's where you stop the air from being released as you're saying 40, so it's 40. Now, this is a really interesting point because he said the T in some words, but he hasn't said it in others. And this reflects modern RP, the idea that our accents aren't rigid. Now, I think Ed Sheeran speaks in patterns rather than rules. A pattern that I think is true for him is that when he is speaking slower, with more considered speech, then he uses that true T. But when it's faster, more spontaneous speech, he's going to drop that. Let's hear some other examples where he drops that T.
I bought 30 canvases and I painted a canvas a day for 30 days. And it was really fun. I started like aiming for things and working harder to get those things.
Okay, so we've looked at how he uses T's in the middle and end positions of words. Now let's look at how T's are affected when the next word begins with a vowel sound.
And I worked really hard at it because I loved what I did, and then suddenly an opportunity would come up.
I want to focus on the words at and it. Now, at ends with a T, and the next word, it, begins with a vowel sound. Now, when that happens, something changes in the way that we say it. We could say at it, but that would take forever. So why would we do that? Usually, what we would do is we would use something called linking, and that's when we bring that T sound over to the beginning of the next word, before the it. So it'd be at it, at it. Okay, now that is what you think you would say, but Ed Sheeran says this.
Really hard at it, really hard at it.
He says at it, at it. Did you hear it? Listen to it again.
Really hard at it, really hard at it.
And what he's done there is he's used that glottal T on the T of at. So he hasn't said it, he's gone at, and he stopped the sound before it comes out. So at, and then it, again, he's done it with a T on it. So we've gone from at it, to at it, to at it, at it. And this is an example of modern RP. This is connected speech. This is very different from traditional conservative RP that we heard on the BBC in the 1950s and 60s. This is a modern form. It's a little bit more informal. So why does he do it? Well, it just makes life easier to say words. So for him to say, I worked really hard at it, that would be really hard. So I worked really hard at it. So much easier. Now I know some of you are thinking, well, how can I do that in my spoken English? And perhaps the answer is, well, you don't need to. It's okay, you don't need to say at it. So you could say at it, or you could say at it, whichever form you want. But in terms of understanding, when we are using our receptive skills, it's really important because proficient speakers of English are going to be using connected speech. So it's very important that you understand what's going on. You don't necessarily need to use it yourself. Let's look at a couple more examples of this.
I was on holiday with all my mates and I had to fly back to shoot a TV show, and I got on it.
Okay, so I got on, instead of got on, which would be linking, got on, we take that T over. He's glottalized that T, so he swallowed it, and it sounds like got on.
I got on it. I got on it.
You'll also notice there the N actually goes across, and that does link to the it. So I got on it. I got on it. And he's glottalized that last T. So instead of saying I got on it, I got on it.
I got on it. I got on it.
Okay, so let's move on from the glottal T, but stay with the idea of linking and look at more examples. Now, it's not always when a T is at the end of a word and there's a vowel at the beginning of the next word. It could be any consonant sound.
I think it only made me stronger as a person and as an artist.
So there, an artist, an artist.
Person and as an artist, and as an artist.
Easy Dreamers, I want to take a quick moment to talk about our sponsor, Lingard. Now, 2020 was a pretty bad year, but I'm proposing that we make 2021 the year of learning, and I think Lingard are just the people to help us. They are an online language learning platform that I've been working with for over 3 years now. They help English learners develop their real conversational skills and build confidence in their speaking ability. But the best thing about Lingard is that they are offering 100% cashback on your course fees if you sign up today. So how does it work? Well, the sprint starts on April the 28th, 2021, and you can sign up anytime before April the 16th. Now they have two offerings. The first one is the super sprint, and this is where you need to attend 30 classes per month for 3 months. And if you can do that, at the end, you get 100% cashback on your course fees. An incredible offer for anyone that's trying to make learning English a habit. Now, if that isn't for you, maybe that's a little bit too much of a commitment, you could try their sprint offer. And this is where you need to attend 15 classes per month for 3 months. And if you can do that, then you get 50% off your course fees. Again, an amazing offer. Now they aren't just offering it in English, you could also do German, French, Spanish, and business English. There is a €49 deposit, but if you use my code underneath, change103, then you get €10 off your deposit. And if you complete the sprint or the super sprint, you get your deposit back. So sign up using the link below, guys, and use my offer code change103. As always, guys, please check the terms and conditions. I always recommend that just to make sure that it fits with what you want. Now, the classes are small and they are run by expert language teachers. And the two things that I love most about Lingard are, firstly, that you can learn anytime, anywhere. There is total flexibility. You can learn on the bus, in the gym, wherever you are, you could be learning English. And secondly, what I love about it is that it's a way to create habits. If you turn learning English into a habit, then you're going to make much faster progress. So go check it out, guys. Use the link below and of course that offer code change103. Okay, we've looked at linking sounds and the t sound. Now, two classic sounds that really define received pronunciation and modern received pronunciation is the R and sounds. Now, these sounds are found in received pronunciation and in Southern English accents, but they're not found in Northern English accents. So that is quite a defining feature. So let's find some examples of the R sound for Ed Sheeran, and then we'll find some sounds as well.
And I remember the last day of tour we played in my hometown. Fame is an enhancer, but for everyone else's insecurities.
Interestingly, in his song Perfect, he does use that R sound on Dance and Grass.
I did like wedding band stuff for a while, and that you know, paid the rent and stuff. And I went to high school and picked up a guitar.
The next feature we're going to focus on is intonation, and in particular something called uptalk. This is where a speaker goes up at the end of a sentence, even though it's not a question. Now, this is something that featured in Emma Watson's accent that we talked about in her video. You can again watch that video, the link is above. And this is definitely a feature that I found very common in Ed Sheeran's accent. Let's listen to an example.
I think especially in this industry, no one's ever really satisfied.
So did you hear that? He was kind of satisfied. It wasn't a question, he just went up at the end.
No one's ever really satisfied.
Now, this is again, as I say, something called uptalk. And there's various reasons why we might do this. It's definitely an influence of American and Australian English into British English. It tends to be younger speakers that do this, and particularly younger modern RP speakers. Now, some people associate it with being unsure about what you're saying, that you don't know, so you're kind of like, I think so, but I'm not sure. That may be the case in some examples, but not always. It's just an intonation pattern that people have adopted. It's almost sort of habitual in that sense. Now, as I said, this is definitely a part of Ed Sheeran's spoken English, and there are a few other examples, so let's hear those.
Fame is an enhancer, but for everyone else's insecurities.
An enhancer, everyone else's insecurity. So you can hear him going up on those words, where generally in most spoken English in Britain, you wouldn't tend to find that intonation pattern. Generally, it would be flat or perhaps even a fall.
Fame is an enhancer, but for everyone else's insecurities.
Now, if you want to go further with modern received pronunciation, you can check out my video with Emma Watson. Also, I've done lots of other British English accent videos. You can check those out right here as well. Remember, guys, to click that link below, sign up to the Lingard Sprint, take your English to the next level. But until next time, guys, this is Tom, the Chief Dreamer, saying goodbye.